Bueno, continuamos con el video. Tuve un problema en la grabación, así que seguimos con el juego. Cualquier cosa, tuve un
She
problema con la
lost two
grabación.
of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
Ya tengo una confusión enorme con los nombres de
There's so
tantos
many
Finch.
things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
De hecho, cuántas dudas ya con esta familia Finch. ¿Por qué tantas desgracias? ¿Qué es lo que los mata? ¿Por qué la maldición? Todavía nos están dejando muchas dudas, la verdad.
But looking back on it now,
Pero al reflexionar,
if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
¿what? O sea, estoy embarazado. Estoy embarazado. No me vaya a matar entonces ahora, bueno. No. Hay que hacer con cuidadito. Ya no sé si hasta yo puedo morir en alguna parte del juego.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense.
Ahora vamos con la historia de Sam. Sam era un paparazzi.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
What? Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly imperfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it?
Tengo que buscarlo. Una foto.
I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
Una foto del pajarito.
Aw.
Foto del pajarito.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Te voy a sacar una foto mirando.
Hey!
That's a keeper.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years.
Dad!
Good eyes, Dawn.
Ganarse, alce, ciervo, venado, lo que sea. Qué mala
Before you
foto
take the
de
shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Turn off your imagination. Focus on your target. Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do
no,
anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong.
Estamos en un apocalipsis zombie, así que tienes que sobrevivir.
Now keep yourself squared up, elbows down, like we practiced. Great shot, Dawn!
Eso no me gusta. Mira este viejo de mierda, me dice, se queda mirando. Haciendo una foto, me dice.
I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay?
Una vez que estás llorando, tu cerebro.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
so-
normal, Dawn. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about—
Dad!
Ojo por ojo, Watton Larry. Watton Byron.
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
Ya no quedan muchos. Cada historia es más trágica que otra, ¿no? Llega a dar pena. Bueno, entonces ahora... ¿Hacia dónde nos
Instead of
vamos?
hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Fue a la guerra. Gatito. Está peleando con una ardilla. ¿Acá hay algo interesante? Creo que no. Entonces tenemos que buscar una salida. Supongo que esa será la única. Pero por ahí vengo, así que...
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
Otro pasadizo secreto. Como que ya es normal encontrar pasadizos secretos en esta cosa.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Vamos con nuevas historias. Historia de Gregory. Pero si nada más un bebé.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
Oye, ese pato me sigue. Sígueme con la mirada, patito, patito. Yo soy una ranita, salto. Yo soy una ranita y puedo saltar. Uy, puedo controlar a la rana. Ahora soy una rana, soy una ranita y puedo saltar feliz.
That's over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie.
Noble. Ahora sí. Puedo seguir tranquilo, saltando
Sam,
en
I
la
told you I
arena.
don't want to talk right now.
Oh, están lloviendo patos.
I wonder what he saw,
Patos en burbujas. Oh.
what his world was like. He reminded me so much of Calvin. Lost in his imagination. Whatever it was, he saw.
Uy,
It
otra
sure
vez.
made him happy.
Ballena.
I know how silly it sounds. But I worried about a baby being too happy. But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could.
Estaba muy entretenido jugando.
Maybe if I hadn't called that
Tengo que
night.
ver todo.
Damn it.
Teléfono, teléfono. Vamos,
Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
podemos jugar. Uy, puedo dar la
I
mano.
wish he could have told
A
us
ver si. Sigamos con nuestro juego.
about the world he saw. There's so much I don't understand about Gregory. About everything. happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy.
No, 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 no. Devuélvete, devuélvete.
And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Creo que eso sí fue la historia más trágica hasta ahora. Se me pusieron hasta vidriosos los ojos. Y nada más tiene un año, pobrecito. Pero me gustó su historia. Al menos murió feliz. Pero esta gente no puede ser más mala.
I
Me
can't
hacen querer
imagine
a
my mom
alguien y
ever
después
writing
me lo
poetry,
matan.
and yet
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea.
Vamos con Gus. Gus. El de los pollos fritos.
Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom, were the words that I
I now
remember.
pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss
Ah,
the
ya.
bride.
Esta es la boda de su padre con ¿Y dónde está? Ah, está ahí. Solo les puedo pegar con el cometa. Toma. Ah, no. Eso me bloquea el fácil. Creo que este es un cometa bastante resistente, ¿eh? Es fine. Uy, ahí hay algo.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Uy, ya no hay nada. Creo que está llegando una tormenta acá. What?
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made.
Wow, puede ser todo.
Thunder sounded
Ay,
much too
Magneto.
close and full of angry
El
calm.
Magneto.
But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
Corra más cerveza, vamos. Vamos por cerveza, vamos. Wow, tengo todo el poder.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
¿Y otro más? Que muere.
she never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Bueno, al menos tenía 13 años. Bueno, igual sigue siendo bastante pequeño, pero tenía más que el otro, que el bebé recién. Y entonces la tercera sería su madre, ¿no? O sea, la madre de la persona que estamos buscando. Edith. Por eso no está ahí. La puerta está sellada, así que creo que por aquí. ¿Sí será?
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Y ahora vamos
Religion
con
was
esto.
another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died.
Creo que era toda. Ah, no, no, aquí.
My mom moved to India a
Bueno,
week
no
after
podemos
graduation
creer ya.
and got a job teaching English. Louis
Supongo que
was
está
born a
viva.
year later.
Ya no sé ni quién está vivo ni quién está muerto. Pero no me contaron la
When my
historia de
dad
ella, así
died,
que no.
I don't think mom knew where else to go.
Me encima murió su padre.
I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal. But it didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
Milton.
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Uy, ese dibujo yo lo conozco. Es de otro videojuego. ¿Será de los mismos creadores? Es de un juego de PlayStation 3, donde uno va dibujando a través de una bolita de pintura todo el mapa. Que es bastante divertido, aunque lo jugué solamente el demo, así que no conozco mucho más el juego. Pero sí, es lo mismo. Tienen que ser. Sí, eso sí, era así el mapa. Bueno, ya. ¿Para qué? No voy a divagar en eso, pero hay un juego que es así. Y de hecho creo que la música es de ahí. No sé, pero me trajo muchos recuerdos así a los Ratatouille. Me pasó lo mismo con este juego.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Ah, ¿qué tengo que hacer? A ir girando. O sea, él desapareció de la nada. ¿O eso fue lo que entendí?
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
Efectivo, desapareció de la nada. Ah, una historia corta.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Y esa
Mom
fue la
definitely
historia.
blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself.
Wow.
After
que
he
sería genial
graduated,
tener
he
una
just spent
habitación.
more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
Tener un cuadro, o sea, una habitación ahí así con esa vista. What? Tiene un bote. Tiene un yate aquí. Soy el rey del mundo. Y nadie me puede parar. I am the queen of the cloud. ¿Qué? Pero vamos, levanta. ¿Cómo se hace? Wow, la pipa de la paz. La pipa de la
Lewis's room
paz,
smelled
hermano.
very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Ese olor se llama marihuana. Él lo dijo. Yo no lo dije, lo dijo el juego.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse.
Eso era ahí.
Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
What?
He kept working
Wow,
at the
soy
canal,
una persona mala.
but
Córtalo.
he withdrew part of himself.
Entra cuchillo, sale
In
la
our sessions, I
pipa.
saw the same behavior.
Entra cuchillo, sale la
His mind
pipa.
began
Entra
to-
cuchillo, sale la pipa. ¿Cómo que empezó a?
Wander.
Ah, ¿verdad? Ah, vaya, o sea, tengo que hacer dos
I asked him to
cosas al mismo
describe
tiempo.
it.
Dos juegos al mismo tiempo.
He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth.
Coordinación full máxima. Porque
He'd
yo
feel
la
his
verdad
way
es que soy
about.
malo para
Then something moved. Bats
eso.
and toads.
Como letras. Sapos, ¿dónde hay sapos? Ok, hay un dragón. Dragón, eres tú.
And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head.
Wow. Perdona, pobre pescado.
But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
Oh, como que todo va a
But he found something more. I worried about him then,
jugar dos juegos al mismo tiempo.
daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss, but he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused.
Uy, ¿dónde estoy? Se me perdió.
Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend.
No, te voy a poner Bobby. Bobby, Bobby, Bobby. ¿Qué nombre más
On
original?
the edge of a city he named
Bobby,
Lewis.
ven para acá.
He built the city up slowly, brick by brick.
Está música. Y me sigue.
Then he made
Aquí te voy a poner
musicians.
el de los bongos. Y aquí trompetín. Ellos.
And songs for them to play.
Ahora sí. Vamos a poner gente que baila. Ya se me acabó la
He
creatividad.
talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He He held an election for mayor,
No voy a matar a nadie. Pobre pescado,
And he
no
won.
puede tirar. Mario Bros.
They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
¿Qué sigo? Lewistopia.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville.
Eso fue fácil. Vamos a conquistar eso.
St. Louis.
Eso fue más fácil. Vamos a conquistar
He
otro.
started drifting away from our reality.
Voy a chocar. Tiren a vapor, estribor, vapor. Vamos a leer.
Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on.
Le dejé el visto nada más. Creo
In
que no estaba muy
Louisville,
interesado.
he heard rumors of a
Trae más la príncipe. O una vuelta príncipe.
handsome
Me inclino por la
queen.
príncipe.
The queen was on her own quest for
En busca de arcoíris radiante. Vamos a ir por la serpiente.
sinister
Creo que es más
serpents.
desafiante que el arcoíris. Oye, wow.
He followed the sound of her
Ay, no puede. No. Suave.
silver harp.
Guitarra eléctrica. Creo que no es muy acorde a la época. Y yo mientras sigo rebanando peces. Ya no
His
sé
chase
cuánto he
led him to
matado
a
hoy.
golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon.
Creo que soy el mayor
Even
asesino de
then, his
peces del
logic
mundo.
remained sound.
Wow,
He knew the world was all in his imagination.
wow, me están tirando mucho. Princesa, princesa, ¿por qué corres?
But he was so proud of having created it.
Pescado, toma pescado.
In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Louis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
Sí, ya no sé qué cortes algunas, así que para qué más. No cortaré más algunas. Renuncio, renuncio.
My imagination
Tú,
is as
renuncio.
real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
What? ¿Llegué a la bodega? ¿Y mi princesa? ¿Qué pasó con mi princesa? No me sigue ya, no puedo. Muy mal. Creo que me metí en obras. A veces mi cuadro.
He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember
volvió a la
Louis,
fábrica.
the cannery worker.
Fábrica de conserva, no suena como una fábrica de... un matadero de peces, mira cuántos peces.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Creo que he asesinado demasiados reyes. Hola, yo del futuro. O yo del pasado.
I still thought I could save him.
Cada vez que
Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him. His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head.
What?
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by
Finalmente,
all of us
entonces,
who knew him.
Es como que su sueño lo mató. O él se suicidó.
My brother was really cool.
Creo que
I
fueron
wish you could have
todos.
met him.
Me gustó esa historia. Salida. Creo que aquí terminamos nuestra aventura. Pero ¿qué pasará conmigo? Esa es la duda. Ahora yo quizás voy a morir. Empezar a salir de aquí.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed.
Creo que no hay nada más que pueda hacer. No. Vamos a seguir buscando.
But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner.
¿Y ya mi habitación?
But it had to end one way or another.
¿Cómo muero yo?
All that's left now is to tell you about that last
No
night.
puedo morir, ¿verdad? ¿Qué le decimos al señor de la muerte? Not today.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
To our final night together, and all our final nights apart.
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Entonces volví atrás.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
Jamás la vi. Quizás puedo haberlo hecho desde...
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning.
Historia de los Finch. Por Edith Finch.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
What?
I got turned around.
Entonces, lo único que hice, creo que todavía no pierdo nada.
I started seeing things.
Un ciervo, un venado.
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them.
Uy, no perdí el rumbo. Hay que hacer como corresponde.
Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go!
Dámelo. No, vuelta.
I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great Grandma Edie again.
Abuela.
The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it, but she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't.
O sea, sí, realmente murió la mamá de ella también.
And then I was alone.
Esa es la última
The last
de la
Finch
historia.
left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this.
Noticias de ti.
If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is.
What? Es como que estuviera... Ah, dijo que
This
estaba
journal was
embarazada.
supposed to be for you,
O sea, esa
but now I
es...
hope you'll never see it.
Eso es lo que creo que es.
I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
Hasta llegar al final de la luz.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
¿Cómo? Bueno, amigos y amigas, eso fue lo que nos dejó este gran juego, What Remains of Edith Finch. Honestamente, un juegazo. Para mí, un muy buen juego, me gustó bastante, una buena jugabilidad, una buena historia.